Hi, I'm Mia reporting for Kids First. Today I'm at CU Boulder in Colorado interviewing Kira Littlemaki, the animation supervisor for Disney's Zootopia. She has also helped animated Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, and Tangled, and Bolt. But today I'm asking her questions on Zootopia. I'm here with Kira Littlemaki, the animation supervisor for Zootopia. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really great. How are you?
Good. So I have some questions for you. And the first question is, how did you choose what Judy Hopps looked like? What inspired you?
Well, so Judy Hopps was designed by a guy named Corey Loftus. He was our character designer on the show, and he worked with Byron Howard, one of the directors, and Rich Moore to really decide what Judy was going to look like. Because originally she wasn't a gray bunny, she was more of a brown, kind of tan bunny, and as time went on, her look really evolved.
That's very interesting. It's nice how it changed because you think that the first idea would be the first one.
Yeah.
And then what sequences did you oversee in Zootopia?
Oh, let's see. There were quite a lot of them. The first one, I think, was the train sequence. So there's a sequence where you hear Gazelle's song play, and Judy's on the train, and she goes through all the different parts of Zootopia, Tundra Town, and Sahara Square, and the Rainforest District. And then there's one called Homesick Hops, where she goes home and she's had a tough day and she goes home to her little apartment and she calls her parents. There's one called the Naturalist Club, where she runs into some very bold and brave animals, let's say.
Yeah, those scenes, I like the train scene, and I thought the natural animals was really funny. Okay, so another question is, did the animators get to meet the voice actors? And if they did, would that affect how they would change the characters?
Yeah, so Jennifer Goodwin, she voiced the character Hops, and Jennifer was a huge influence on Hops. I got to go to the recording studio and meet with her, and she was super sweet. She's a huge Disney fan. So am I. Her sister's an animator, so she kind of understands our world. And before Jennifer was cast in the role, Judy was a very different character. She was kind of that tan bunny that I told you about, and she was a seasoned cop, so she was the top police officer on the ZPD, and she was a little bit more cynical, and she had been there, done that, seen it all, and so she just wasn't, she was kind of no nonsense kind of girl. And the moment Jennifer was cast in the role, she has such a sweet voice that Judy suddenly became more of this naive, sweet, innocent, optimistic dreamer of a character, and she really dreamed about being the very first bunny cop.
How long do you think it took to build the overall character before, making what they would finally look like?
Oh, well, I came onto the film. I was on the film for about 2.5 years, and I would say a year of that was spent working with Corey Loftus, who I mentioned before, who really designed what she looked like. And then we have a guy, his name was Ryan Tottle, and he modeled her inside the computer. So he's like the digital sculptor. And so he took Corey's design and he made it a digital sculpture. And then we had a rigger, his name was Chris Peterson, and he put a skeleton inside that model so that we could move her around like a puppet. So that whole process was about a year.
Well, that's a long time.
It is a long time.
If there is a sequel to Zootopia, what would you want to add and make sure would be done in this film?
I think I would want to explore some of these other worlds. I had talked, Byron Howard, he is the director, and he's one of the guys that came up with the initial idea for this whole movie. And he had always talked about that, maybe all the mammals live in this area of Zootopia, but maybe there's other areas like for birds or reptiles, or I don't know what kind of storylines he has in mind. But I'd love to either explore some of the other areas in Zootopia that we didn't get to see quite as much in this movie, or maybe find out where all those other animals live.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm glad I could meet with you today. Those are all the questions I have.
Okay, well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
It has been a pleasure to meet Kira Littlemaki today. Go see Zootopia in theaters near you. This is Mia signing out for Kids First. See you next time. Bye.